on the river. It's 7:30. Great camp, but yeah, a couple thunderstorms last night. So everything's wet again, but I was dry. But most importantly, there was no bugs, hardly any. So maybe I'm getting used to them, but I didn't see that many. So I don't know if that's because it was an island or what, but it was cleared campsite, so maybe that had something to do with it too. But yeah, I'm just drifting along, headed downstream to the Yukon River. Should be there pretty quick, actually. Good way to start the morning. Just hanging back, letting the current take me for a bit here. Enjoying my coffee. Used to always have coffee in camp, but I might as well do it while I can look at new scenery. That there is the Yukon River. Made it. Coming up on Hootalinqua, I can see someone moving around there. Definitely someone would have been camping here if I came last night. So everything works out for a reason. I'm gonna stop in though and have a quick look around. So here's where I camped last time. And I don't know why I didn't think of this, but that's a sprinkler. And on shore there's a pump and some gas for the forestry guys. So that's probably what those gas cans were that I saw at Teslin Crossing. It's for forestry stuff. Got some sprinklers up there to protect it. And up there. But they wanted to protect the site. I'm not going to spend too much time here. I don't want to bug the guys that are here. But yeah, old telegraph station. I documented it really well, I think. You be the judge on my first video 6 years ago. So, it doesn't look like much has changed at all. I'll show the guys back home how to set up a sprinkler in the forest. Whatever you gotta do to make it work. Another outbuilding, sprinkler on it. So that's a cool little shed, storage shed.
Many steamships would pull into Hootalinqua as they journeyed up and down the Yukon River with prospectors headed to Dawson and gold coming out. Hootalinqua became a major supply point for the prospectors in the area and beyond, in that the Teslin and Yukon rivers meeting at this point made it a pretty high traffic area. In 1897, the Northwest Mounted Police built a post here, and later on in the 1900s, there was a roadhouse added, as well as a telegraph post and a store. Some of this maybe we can see here on this collection of artifacts. A lot of stories and ghosts around this area, I believe. And it's amazing to see and nice to see that the government's decided to preserve it as much as possible so that we can catch a glimpse as to what the old history might have been like. It's very cool. The indigenous people had been meeting in this spot for hundreds of years prior to Europeans. Hootalinqua means running against the mountain, and as I explored the area, this seemed a very aptly named place.
Well, that was pretty nice. It looks, from what I remember, exactly the same. So, good job for the Yukon government keeping that set up. Looks like a new porta potty thing is the best porta potty I've ever seen in my life. So I had to make use of that just because there's not too many of those things on this trip. Next stop is right at this island, right up ahead. Is where the Lady Evelyn paddle wheeler, this old steamship, is. So go see how that's fared in 6 years. That was starting to fall apart pretty good, so just gotta make sure I get the right channel here. Yeah, it surprised me last time how close it was to Hootalinqua. I guess that makes sense. But what they did is I'll talk now in case someone's camping there. So it could be. When they were done with it, they just pulled it up out of the river and set it up on this island, and it's been sitting there ever since. So probably 100 years or so. It was. I don't think it was one of the main ones for the gold rush, but even after the gold rush, there was a lot of commerce up here. A lot of people traveling to Dawson City, just like I am. So here we go, Lady Evelyn. And here's the view from the water, if you happen to glance this way, because in 2 seconds, you would be by, and you wouldn't even know this was here. Well, it looks much the same, but falling apart for sure. These were the, I don't know what you call them, winches, pulleys, that they used to pull it up onto land. Look at all of the trees that have grown since it's been there. Like that's decades old, right? Like all of this and this tree. That's 50, 60-year-old tree. Wouldn't have been here. Would have been a double decker. Of course, most of the deck looks like it's falled in, or fell in, falled in. Oh, there's a good view of the boiler. I would have thought it'd be in the back. You can see the brick. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, I don't remember seeing that. Like, I wonder. Neato. So pretty much no keel, right? Just flat bottom. I've always found this interesting. So, Evelyn or Norcom? Obviously got renamed one or the other. The site calls it the Lady Evelyn, so we'll stick with that.
Indeed, it was built as the Evelyn in 1908 in Seattle and plied up and down the Yukon River for many years until 1913 when it was wrecked on a shoal someplace. It was then sold and rebuilt and renamed as the Norcom, but it only lasted as the Norcom for about a year.
There's the back end. It's hard to get the whole thing in because I'd be stomping through the forest. Not a lot left of the paddle wheel. It could have been salvaged, I have no idea. But I don't know if these big boards are part of the paddle wheel or not. But big thick rudders on there. Lady Evelyn, you're doing well. 100 years or more. Providing joy to us modern folk. Oh, there's an outhouse here. Fantastic. Big turbine, or drive shaft probably, right? This would be one of the drive shafts, or the drive shaft that would have turned the paddle. You can see the offset. That one's high. This one's about almost a quarter. Cranking some power. There's some information on some big timbers. Giant timbers. And looks like there's some more machinery out in that way. I don't think I went that way before. Gotta go check it out. Look at the size of the timbers. Holy man. Big cables. Wonder if it was yeah, this is a foundation. This was a building. But all square cut though. Maybe this as well. Oh no, you wouldn't have made a building with timbers like that. Whew. That's for some weight. Maybe this was a ramp to skid it up. Here's another view.
The Evelyn itself weighs in at 352 tons and 130 feet long, at least when it was fully equipped and serviceable. Although, as you can tell, the Evelyn has definitely not been restored or changed in any way from when it was first drug up onto the shore. And we can see steamships in their heyday that have been restored in places like Whitehorse, Dawson City, and throughout the Northwest. But I do find this kind of intriguing as the site is hard to get to. It's hard to see. And just watching the degradation in a natural way just provides more mystery and wonder of the old Yukon days and the Goldrush era.
Okay. Back on the river. And look at the weather now. It's mostly clear. Hopefully it gets a little warmer. And we'll get going on the Yukon. I spent easily 2 hours looking at Hootalinqua and the Lady Evelyn steamboat, but that steamboat is remarkable. It's worth the time. Getting some footage. Flew the drone up. Hopefully you'll see that. If you don't see it, that means I crashed it someplace, which I'm pretty nervous about, but that's why I brought it. But it leads me to bring up another philosophical question. Paddling trip, camping trip, filming trip. So yeah, like flying that drone took a lot of time. Just because I'm not good at it. And filming and all that stuff. So yeah, but I got the time, so I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, that's one of the premier stops on this trip is the Lady Evelyn. And there's lots of historical points of interest along the way here that I'll also stop at. So we're back at her. Yeah, I haven't seen it. There's at least 2, not 3 or 4 people in that group in Hootalinqua. I didn't really see all of them, but I don't think they got up and past me yet. But as I pulled into the Lady Evelyn point, there's a young guy there in a kayak going all the way to the Bering Sea. Quite a trip and adventure for him. He was just leaving as I pulled in. So I don't know if I'll catch up to a kayaker. So it might be the last I see of him, but I hope he has good luck and he makes it all the way. Days like today is pretty nice. I noticed the character of the water is different too. The Teslin was really muddy, brown, and this is more of a aqua, more a glacier, but the Teslin's making it brown. If I go to the right side, river right, it'll be all brown. So I wonder if it's going to, which water's going to win out over the other. The muddy Teslin or the more glacial Yukon. Guess we'll see. So gorgeous. It's warmed up to about 20 degrees Celsius. Really warm. I'll be taking my rain pants off soon. I need to stop though, and I don't feel like stopping. I can smell smoke in the air, and there's maybe a tinge of haze, but nothing that I can see, so yeah, if there is something, it's a ways away. There isn't really any wind, so it's probably just laying low, laying in the low ground, which would be the river, off in the lowest part. Yeah, what a difference in weather this place has. This is turning out to be a great sunny day. It was supposed to be mostly cloudy all day. But obviously when I get a weather forecast, it ends up being like even 2 days old. It's like 100 kilometers away by the time I get up here. So the weather I had before is probably not valid, which is no problem. I'm ready for any weather. Trucking along here, notice the bird life a little more. Some little tiny ducklings and goslings. They must have just hatched. Maybe the thunder last night woke them up and got them out. But trying to get them with the GoPro is useless. You'll never see them, so I won't bother. But it's good to see. Had a juvenile bald eagle fly right over me. That was cool. And juveniles are just as big as the adults. They just don't have the white head yet. Some crows not very happy with me coming by. I've always wondered, everyone always says, we stop for a shore lunch, or this is a good place for a shore lunch. And I'd always thought, well, where else are you gonna have lunch? But then I thought, why not have lunch in the canoe while I'm traveling? And I can see why that's pretty good, especially if you got some current. So again, I ate. Don't feel like having a nap after I eat, but I can have a nap and still move. So a non-shore lunch, a canoe lunch, was pretty good. See some clouds rolling in though, so that's what happens if I say I could jinx it. And that's okay, it is what it is. I'm enjoying what I have. Big whirlpool in there. Let's stay out of there. Wow, the weather changes so quick. 10 minutes ago I was in shirt sleeves, gonna apply another layer of sunscreen, and it was hot. It was like 26, and now it's raining. I can hear, you can't see it from that end, but I can hear some thunder. It doesn't look like it's too big, but you never know. So it's been a good day though. I would like to have my tent dried out though. So this is probably not going to happen unless this just blows over, which is possible. You never know. Anyways, it's approaching 3 o'clock. I'm gonna start looking for a campsite, I think now. Yes, sir. This is rain. Yukon rain. The weird thing is I can see blue sky over there ahead of me. Did you want it to rain harder? Well, she's sunny and nice again. Can't really bring the boat up. I was here last time and I did that and it was a disaster. So again, I'm tying it. Triple tied. I've been at this camp before and I really like it. Look at that mountain. We still got some snow up there. That's where we came from, obviously. I don't know if you can tell, the current is flowing pretty good here. Nice and wide, but fast. And tomorrow, headed down that way to the Big Salmon Confluence, is the Big Salmon River, that is. So, a little bit about this camp. It's not really a camp. It's a working trapper's lodge. So if you watched my other video, you've seen that I stayed here before, but I had some neighbors that came in late, so that is possible that that could happen again, but we'll see. I took the best spots though, for sure. Got my tent set up there, tarps just back there, and a work table, which is great. So I'm charging batteries. I'll get the solar panels out because it's so good with the sun. Bit of a gear bomb there, but yeah, maybe fly the drone some more later because I got some sun to charge up. And that's how I'm situated. But this is the trapper's cabin. This mailbox is new though, and it says to sign the mailbox. So, well, not the mailbox, but what's in it. So I'll have a look there. I don't remember if I did something like that before, but I'll definitely do it this time. Well, yeah, I'm not gonna mess around with his stuff, just like he asks no one to touch his stuff. So. So I'm usually in my tent by now. Yeah, either tired or the bugs. But I don't know if you can tell on this, the camera actually makes it look lighter than it is, but it's 10 o'clock at night. And it is still light out. Swing around here. I just want to show you where the sun is. It's still really high. And very interesting, the land of the midnight sun. Anyway, that is calling. Good night. our way. The Big Salmon River. It's a fairly large tributary. Almost as big as the Teslin. There's another route I could do on that one to get down here. Maybe we'll get even some more speed. There's another large river coming in. Thought I'd check out Big Salmon Village. Decent little campsite. It's a little buggier than mine, but lots of room. I didn't stop here last time because there was a couple big groups all along here. They were pretty loud. I left in the morning, but they were here and didn't want to bother them. I'm gonna go check out the village, see if I can find it. Should be down this way a little bit.
Big Salmon Village probably has been around in some form as a fishing encampment for the First Nations, being where the Big Salmon River and the Yukon converge. Fishing was probably pretty good for them. As gold was discovered in the area, there was some prospecting done both up the Big Salmon and along some of the creeks. So a settlement kind of was born out of that, more permanent. All those bottles don't seem to look period. They seem to be all kinds of modern bottles that people are adding to the collection, looks like. But yeah, the settlement probably started growing with the gold rush. So in 1897, the Northwest Mounted Police put a detachment here that operated until 1902. A lot of the operations would have shut down just because of the road that came in. So places like this trading post, this store here, probably only ran for maybe a dozen years or so, as people use the road a lot more. But the Big Salmon itself, another interesting route. I know some of my favorite YouTubers, Canoe the North, has done this a couple times. I think it's one of his favorites. We're finding this little general store here. Looks like it sells just fireweed. But yeah, a good jumping off point for prospectors coming through the area. And the only occupant seems to be this ground squirrel remaining. In 1995, there was a forest fire that came through here. The report was that it leveled all the buildings, but as you can see, there's still quite a few, and this one looks like kind of a new one that someone's built. So there must still be some action here and there, maybe in hunting or fishing or something like that. But
this is the old cemetery. Mostly indigenous, I believe. Thought I'd come take a look. Pay my respects. And they built these little structures. Interesting. See if they have any markers. That's a small one. I wonder if that indicates the age of the person. As long as we're respectful, I think it's fine to come to see these places. So this is the trading post again, but it's amazing how much all the willows and trees have grown in here. This is probably all clear, right to the water. I can just see blue through there. But yeah, it's all, if it's not populated or no one's here, it gets overgrown pretty fast. Imagine trees will fill up this meadow before too long as well. Already a big day. Got on the water fairly early, but I was rushing to get early. And when you rush, you forget stuff. Not that I left anything behind, but it's not efficient. So you need to go slow and easy. That always ends up being faster anyways. But yeah, got on the water about 7:30, so perfect. Right, like not even 500 meters from my camp is when the big salmon comes in, like I showed you. And I stopped there to go have a look, and I'm glad I did. It's a very interesting place. I missed it last time, so glad I got in there and had a look around. Hope you enjoyed it. Well, I'm really liking my new bent shaft paddle from Bending Branches. It's super light. Makes you just want to hammer out the strokes. Yeah, two strokes and I got to do a correction at the end of the second. Yeah, it's way better than my other one. You get what you pay for though. I can do a lot of distance with this thing. So. I know I do pry off the gunnel a lot. So, I don't know, call it laziness. It does make it a little noisier with the clunk. But in my mind, that's why the gunnel's there. I was curious about how the new paddle would stand up to that, because the wooden one, it knocked all the finish off by prying off the gunnel and kind of wrecked the paddle. This one though is doesn't even, you can't even tell it's been bumping on the gunnel. Now the Canoe, of course, it's worn a little bit there, but that is hardwood, and I keep it finished as best I can, so it's not losing its shape. Just character. Coming up on the next point of interest, Sears Dredge. Now remember, even in low water, this is hard to find, and I almost missed it. So yeah, there's a lot of things to look at here. So this is part of the dredge. Used to be a big machine going out into the river. So yeah, over time, it's fallen apart. You saw the stuff in the water over here. All silted in, and one day it'll probably get washed away again, but oh, remember this caterpillar. I don't remember it being so covered though. Some drive shaft, big timbers. Yeah, I think this is quite a bit more sanded up. But there is some other stuff in here. to look at. So yeah, here's the story. I have this on the other one too, but so not Klondike Gold Rush days, but people still looking for gold up here. There's actually still mines going on. So, but yeah, it looks like a nice, well, sandy campsite anyways. They got an outhouse here too. Yeah, that might be it actually. I thought there was more, but it all seems to be buried there. It looked like somebody was camping there last night. So there's footprints and the rain hasn't affected the footprint. It didn't rain last night, but the night before. 10:30 on the water for, well, I've only been on the water for a couple hours. Again, these stops take some time. That's okay. I gotta look at some of this stuff. It's very interesting, fascinating to me. So. There's this duck following me. I'm like, why is he following me? He's just floating down the river. This has been for kilometers. Why would he do that? And I thought, well, I'm floating down the river too. I totally missed Erickson's, where I stayed at one night. Not that I was going to stay there, because it's not even lunchtime. Or, well, I guess it'd be lunchtime around now. But, yeah. It was a great place. Old cabin there. Good camp. Really high up. You can see that on the previous trip. It's quite interesting. All right. So I've camped just outside Little Carmacks. And if you can see that, if I can see it, yeah, power lines, and that is a road. So I came by here on my first trip and I wasn't that impressed because it's right beside the road. I thought it'd be pretty bad for bugs, so I passed it up that time. But then I couldn't find really any good ones after that, so this was free. I jumped on it. I got everything all rigged. I don't know if you can tell, it's still early in the day, but it's getting dark. And I hear some thunder coming. Well, I do hear thunder, so probably get a soak in here right quick. But everything's all set up, ready to go. Just gotta hang out, make dinner, and call her a day. All snug in here. And bug spray, because here they come. Just missed a big thunder bang. Thunder bang? Is that a thing? Not sure. Good morning, day 6. What a day. It is almost completely clear. So yeah, It's going to be a sunny one, I think. Just a little bit of slight of a breeze. Last night was pretty cold, or at least in the morning. Got up, it was pretty cold. I took my time, had an extra hot chocolate to warm me up. But actually, maybe it was just colder in the forest. As soon as I'm on the water, it's like I'm taking all my layers off already. So, yeah, a little bit later of a start, but that's okay. I know what types of distance I can manage, so should be good as we swing around, headed downstream. I did pass a camp on River Right, and that's the side that the road is on, or the highway. And there's people camping there. They weren't awake yet. No one seems to wake up until like 10. But I didn't notice any boats, so they might have accessed that spot from the road. I don't know. And that's the other thing you have to think about too, is when you're coming down, you're anywhere that's near a road or has road access, you're competing with those people that might camp there too. So yeah, my camp last night was on the other side of the river, left side of the river, so there is no road there. So I had the place to myself. It was very nice. Coming up on Eagle Bluff. This is a very interesting geological, I don't know if you could call it a mountain. It's more than a hill, but less than a mountain, but it's very interesting. I'm taking something called the Taylor Cutoff. There's a giant S-turn. It takes a lot of time. So I'm gonna try this little cutoff. Obviously, no, I don't think a steamship would have went up here, but or down. But it's just a little bit of a stream. Little duck family right in front of me. I don't know if you can see them on the GoPro. They're right off the point of the boat. Yeah, they must be just hatching now. All these little babies all over the place. Usually I don't get so close. I kind of surprised them coming around that side of the island. They were on the other side. The headwind, but with the current, it's it's fine. Kind of keeps you on your toes though. So it'll be an early day today. just flying along, enjoying the weather, but I'm way ahead of schedule. Still knocking off the minimum amount of mileage that I need to. I'm probably going to be done by 3, so I haven't even cracked my book, so maybe I will read, but yeah, maybe not. Just a good look at Tantalus Butte, site of an old coal mine. So great day. The coal mine campground is just up ahead, just a few kilometers away. It's like 2 o'clock, but I'll chalk this up as a rest day because it sure felt like that. It was just easy going, easy paddling, and probably just under 50 kilometers or so, so pretty good for a rest day. Yeah, I'm not going to do any filming in the campground just because there's going to be people there and that sort of thing, so I will pick this up in the morning. I should be able to get an early start.
Thanks for watching, and I hope you like part 2. Like and subscribe and watch for part 3 coming out soon.